Hello, thanks for coming to walk with me today. I'm walking at 1.5 miles per hour, just a nice little slow pace right now. I did a walk a few minutes ago, so this is kind of a cool down, but in case I haven't mentioned it, I'm up to 8,000 steps a day right now, and I was thinking it was going to be a lot easier to maintain because the 7,500 a day was feeling very good. Like I wasn't having any issues making that. The 8,000 has been a challenge, I won't lie. I will say part of that it's because I normally try to do at least a 30-minute walk during my work day, and just based on some of the work I've been doing lately, uh, it just hasn't been the right kind of work that I can spend 30 minutes doing. So there's that. So I think my work day walk has kind of trimmed down to about 20 minutes a day. And I don't know, that plus also I've just been feeling kind of tired lately. I don't know if it's the season change, if it's all the things I've been doing in my life. I don't know, but I guess it's just been harder for me to get up and go, but we're getting there. I just find that by the end of the day, I'm marching around my living room like, hello steps, please, let's get there. So yeah, so there's that. However, the weather outside at this moment is so nice. I mean, at nighttime it's getting chilly, but I tend to not walk outside very much because I don't like the heat. I don't like feeling hot. And inside I have fans, I have air conditioner. But outside feels so good right now. So maybe because I'm having a struggle getting my 8,000 steps and I'm then spending a lot of my evening trying to catch up, I might start trying to incorporate an outdoor walk and getting some steps that way and enjoying the weather before it ends up being too cold. So we shall see. But someone needs to help me because before I know it, we're going to be in November and I'm going to need to up my steps. Now, sometimes I go up 250 steps. So I would go to 8,250, and sometimes I up it 5,000. For example, this last month from September to October, I upped it 500. Did I say 5,000? So sometimes what I do is I kind of base it on how easy or hard it was for me to get my steps, like what my goal was. So for example, since getting my 7,500 steps was coming pretty easily to me, I felt comfortable going straight to 8,000. But I'm having struggles, so maybe instead of going to 8,500, I'm considering doing 8,250, which I do go up those 250 increments occasionally too, from my journey starting from, I started at 3,000 and I just have slowly went up, but just based on how challenging it's been for me and how I'm cutting it close to the wire some days, I think 8,250 is going to be my November goal, and then we'll be 8,500 in December. I feel like that's what makes sense because I want to feel successful. I want to keep my momentum going with getting these steps. So that is the plan. Otherwise, today I just kind of want to chat with you about some new things in my life and kind of update you on some changes I mentioned in a previous video. So something new is I tried, you probably can't see it, I'm pretty far away, but I finally tried some dip powders. I know they've been around for a while, but right now on my TikTok, it is all over the place with these dip powders, and my daughter Bailey likes to do the dip powders for polish, and so I was like, you know what, I found one that was on Amazon for $10 that had 4 colors in it. It has kind of all the things you need to get started, and I cannot remember the brand right now. If you leave a comment that you're interested, then I'll go find it. If nobody comments that they want to know what the brand is, then I won't bother. But it was on Amazon. It was not the Azure Beauty, it was a different one. I think it starts with an M, but it was supposedly has less toxic ingredients, which who knows, probably not, but that's what it claims. So I'm like, you know what, $10 to try is sure. The first time I did it, the color, like I got like a neutral palette of colors, but the first one, it was like an orangey peachy color, and I'm like, you know what, that's probably good for fall. Let me give it a try. And when I tell you that color was like the color of my skin, like I'm so serious. You could barely tell I had anything on because it just looked like my skin. So not a good color for me. But also, I'd never done it before, so I had no idea. I did watch a few videos. I did read the directions. I did have Bailey there with me, who's had her nails dipped before. She didn't help me, she was just there, but they didn't turn out so good. Some of them looked okay, but some of them were way too thick, too bumpy. They lasted a few days, and I wanted to take them off desperately, but then actually what ended up happening is I was like tucking my sheet on my bed, and when I did that, like bent my nail back, and that caused it to kind of like crack and pop off. So then I took the rest of them off, and then just a few days ago did this sparkly gold color. It's actually darker than I thought it was going to be, but it's really pretty and they look so good. So now I'm interested to see how long they last, because they've been on me for 2 days, I think. Now we're on day 2, or actually maybe I'm on day 3. I think today is literally day 3. So we'll see how long they last and how the process is taking them off, because that's like the big thing with dip nails. You need to like basically buff off the top coat, put them in acetone, all this stuff. However, what I found when I took them off last time is if depending on how they're on, you can kind of get a nail file and just pop them off. It reminds me of like fake nails I would have used as a child, not like from a store, not like going to a salon and get them done, but like when you go to the store and you buy, like I think I would go to the Dollar General and I'd get some like fake nails, and then you could just pop them off. Like it reminds me of that. Like that was the process. It was not difficult, and it didn't cause any issues for me because I didn't have to soak them in acetone for God knows how long. So there's that. So I'll have to keep you posted, but for now I really like them, and we'll see how that goes. Before that, if I painted my nails, I was using Olive and June, and I still have plenty of their products, and they're also a non-toxic polish, and they're meant to be gel-like and last a while. Now, given I haven't used other polishes in a long time to know how they would hold up, but the colors were really beautiful, and they didn't smell like terrible or anything. It's still a strong smell, it's polish, but they would chip quicker than I would like. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll rotate out some Olive and June, some dips. I don't have my nails painted all the time. This is about the most I do. I don't really wear, as you can see, a lot of makeup. Don't really spend a lot of time on my hair. I'm not like really into doing all that. So this is like the most I do. So we'll see how it goes. So there's that. The next like big life update I have is I'm about to start seeing a therapist, and I'm really excited about it and scared, but right now I'm mostly excited. If you've ever seen the sitcom The Nanny from the 90s, I loved The Nanny, and I remember watching that. I was probably around 12 or 13 when I was really watching that a lot. And I remember when the main character, Fran, went to see a therapist, and like in that moment things were clicking for me, like, man, I would like to see a therapist, and wow, I would like to be a therapist. And so for several years I thought I would be a therapist, but like pretty much most of my high school career, if you call high school career, in my high school years, if you asked me what I was going to be, I was going to be a counselor, therapist. That's what I would say. And then by the time it was the end of high school, I didn't really want to go to school anymore, so kind of let that dream die. But my brother is actually a therapist, so at least somebody made it. And definitely being a teacher, I felt like a therapist a lot, because I definitely had to teach a lot of kids like some social emotional strategies and all that. I know it's not quite the same, but you're a teacher. If you know, you know. And if you're a teacher, you probably do know. But anyway, honestly, I thought about seeing a therapist for years. I'm not like having depression or anything like that, but and my life actually has less stress than it's ever had. So really, I should have seen a therapist a few years ago. That would have been helpful for me. But I do find that I have a hard time letting things go. I really like to be in control of my day and plan stuff out, and I do get frustrated when when plans don't work out. I definitely tend to overthink and overanalyze. Like, I had a conversation with my mother-in-law the other day, and I mean, we talk, and I would say we're close even, but the type of conversation I had is normally something I would just tell my husband to do, but I had it instead. And then in my mind, it's like, I knew she was in the car. Well, I don't know if she was the one driving or just in the car. But I knew she wasn't really in a place probably to sit and think about a response. But I had sent this really long message, and she responded with okay. And like, her and I are really similar, so she talks a lot too. And so I don't know if it's just I did too much, so she just didn't have time to process it. So she just said okay. But I was concerned for like 2 days that she was mad at me just because she said okay, when the real fact was all she said was okay. She didn't say I'm mad at you. Do you know what I mean? So for 2 days, and then I saw her last night, and everything seems totally fine. So I'm like, well, so glad I overanalyzed that for 2 days. It's just like, that's exhausting. If you're someone who has like anxiety or some kind of trauma and you overthink and overanalyze, like, you may have seen my shirt from a few episodes ago, is like probably overthinking everything. Like, that is exactly who I am. That's what I should probably wear to my first therapy appointment. But I would just like some help. Even though I listen to a ton of podcasts, I've read a lot of books, I feel like I do mostly have the tools to know what to do to help myself in these situations. But I don't think it's gonna hurt talking to someone and getting an unbiased opinion and guidance, so we'll see. But my first meeting is just a consultation. It's really going to be short. It's like 15 minutes, like, hey, here's who I am, like, are we going to be a good fit or not? And I was I was talking to my brother, because like I said, he's a therapist. He does therapy online currently, and eventually he wants to be a part of or have his own practice. But he's still he's been a therapist for maybe 2 years now, but they have to be supervised so many years before they can be on their own. So I asked him though, like, what do you think they're gonna want to know? What are they gonna ask me on this first one? And he was just like, I just kind of meet people and see what they want to say. But because I said, well, the thing is, I'm like, if she asks me like what I want to work on, it's like I have a list. Like, I don't know if I probably could pinpoint it and say I have anxiety, I overthink and overanalyze. That is probably my number one problem. But I have a list. And he said, well, I would prefer he's like, maybe just write it out. He's like, I'd prefer you come with a list of things you think you want to work on versus showing up and being like, I don't know. So I was like, okay, well, this person will get a preview day one and be like, hi, here I am. I literally have a list of my problems. But at least I think I'm very self-aware of most of the things that I feel like I could use some guidance on. So, and I talk a lot. Hello, I'm here on this channel sharing random things with people I don't even know. And like I've mentioned before, my best friend and I have a podcast. If you haven't checked it out, please do. It's called Bitches Be Cray. You can see it on YouTube. You can hear it on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts. Maybe that's it for now. Who knows where it'll be, but it's out there. People are listening. We'd love some more listeners, so come on and join us. But yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to be so open with a therapist, but I hope so, because I'm pretty open with everybody else. So probably by the time I make my next video, I will have at least had my initial appointment, and whether this is going to be a good fit for me or not, maybe if not, they'll be able to recommend someone they work with who they might be like, oh yeah, so and you will be like a great match. So I already have some plan Bs lined up I was just kind of like looking through some options, and my friend who I do the podcast with, she was like, yeah, why don't you go ahead and tell him that too? I'm like, you know what, you're right. So we'll see how it goes. I will keep you posted. I do want to mention, I think what took me so long to be ready to do this is that when I first moved to college, I had just gotten out of a 4-year relationship, and it was a long distance relationship. And the move I made put me closer to the guy I'd been dating. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, we're gonna live closer. Maybe we'll start dating again, because I think we've been broken up for like 2 months only. But he'd already started dating someone else, and I didn't know that when I moved. And so when I got here and found that out, like, I was just distraught. Not only was I hoping to get back with an ex, which thank God I didn't, because we were not a good fit for each other, but I moved away from all my friends, from my family. I was alone. Like, it was just a lot. And so the school had counselors there to talk to. So I just remember one day crying in my dorm room, like hysterically thinking, oh, I need help. I'm falling apart here. And I made an appointment, and I went the next day, I think, and it was an older gentleman. And like, I kind of just told him what was going on. And he basically said, like, I felt like he brushed me off. He was like, oh, I think you'd benefit from group therapy, blah, blah. I was just like, what? Like, obviously I knew then, and I know now, that therapy not a one and done, but I was hoping that this person was going to either refer me or set up like some sort of every other week or monthly cadence with me to kind of help me get through all these things. And maybe he thought, I actually told my brother about this, and he's like, he probably thought, oh, it's a breakup, you'll get over it soon. And I'm like, well, if that's what he thought, he was wrong, because I cried over this for 2 years, and then I ended up going student teaching out of the country just to escape the situation. So, sir, I really could have used your help that day. So that kind of turned me off to therapy for a while, because I was like, I reached out for help and I didn't feel like I got it. And when I was teaching, the last like few years of my teaching career was really tough. I mentioned I had a lot of challenging students. Expectations keep rising. It was a lot. This one year I had a combination class, first and second graders, and it was a really tough year for me. And the school had what you call like an EAP, so you could basically see a therapist for the same issue, for like the same topic, the same issue, up to like 6 sessions or something. Like, that's enough. But anyway, but you can only see certain therapists. They have to be ones that take like this kind of insurance, I guess. So there was one nearby. I was like, yay, nearby. And I went and I met with her one time. And I don't know, I just did not feel the connection between her and I did not feel like we were a good fit. I did not feel comfortable talking with her. I know it was just one time, but I can feel comfortable talking with people like day one if it's a good feeling, a good vibe. And it's not that she was not kind or that she did anything wrong. I could just tell like that was not going to be it for me. And so somehow I figured out how to deal with it on my own. Probably food. I was probably using food, and hence why I gained weight, but whatever. That's been years and years now, and I am ready to try again. And now that, because of COVID, though I know it was possible before COVID, there are more and more options to meet with people online, because in person, based on someone's work hours, you might not even have a chance to meet with them, because like right now I'm working, like my day's like 8 to 5. If I have to go somewhere, you're gonna have to be open after that. And a lot of places locally aren't open very late. They want to see people during the day so they can have a life. But when you do online, you have a little more flexibility. So this person I'm meeting with, they're in my state, but I couldn't drive to them. They're too far. So we'll see if we're a good fit, and I will keep you posted. The last 2 things I want to give you some information about, one's an update and one's new. So we'll do the update first. I had mentioned my son wanted to live with his mom, or at least give it a try. He has lived with his dad and I, so he must have a son. So he's lived with us since he was 7. and he's 15 now. And about, what are we on now? 2 weeks ago? Yeah, he moved in with his mom, switched his school. Now he's at school with his older sister, and this is her senior year and his sophomore year, so pretty much the only chance they'll have to be in school together. But he's been there. He started training for football. He's liking school. We saw him yesterday. That was the homecoming game, so we went to go watch his sister cheer. And today's the homecoming dance, so that's exciting. They're both going with a date. For the first time, they're going to dances with a date, so that's super cute. Can't wait to see the pictures. And it seems like he's happy and thriving there. So I'm super happy that that is working out and that his sister and him get to spend more time together. And of course, I'm happy he's spending more time with his mom and his younger sister as well, because I think it's important to know and spend time with all your family. It helps you know who you are. So I'm just so happy that it's working out, and my husband and I are like doing really well. It felt a little weird the first few days, but we just feel it feels a little more relaxed here. Not that he was really stressing us too much, but he is a teenager, so there's a little stress of that. And not that we're not still present in his life, but it's different when they're not living with you full time. So yeah, it's been a little more chill here, we'll say. And my husband and I have made it to a few date nights and things we have a chance to do, so that's nice as well. I feel like there's been a lot of changes coming up in my life, but change is growth, and so I'm excited for it. But anyway, I thank you so much for walking with me today, and I will see you next time. Bye.